Well, today, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie and Assemblymember Matt Haney led a walk through Union Square to talk about the downtown recovery progress and challenges. Our Max Darrow was given exclusive access to join them on that walk and learn more about what is working and what they say needs some improvement.
Have you ever walked through a city centre and felt like you were in some kind of ghost town? A place built for crowds that never arrive? That is what you feel now in the financial district of San Francisco. Streets that used to hum at lunch hour are quiet.
For a second week in a row, glass was falling from the sky in San Francisco. Powerful gusty winds likely blew out this window from a high-rise building.
Buildings stare back with dark windows. You can hear shoes on the sidewalk where you used to hear a roar. This was the beating heart of the tech world. You could step out of an elevator and into a coffee shop where seed rounds were pitched at a corner table. Founders and engineers filled the crosswalks. The future felt close enough to touch. Today, the numbers tell a different story. By late 2025, roughly a third of downtown office space stood empty, with CBRE putting the vacancy rate at about 34%. That is not a dip. That is a structural break. An empty office is not just a dark floor, it is a missing lunch crowd, a missing after-work drink, a train seat that never gets used, a sales tax that never gets collected. It is a gap that ripples. Retail felt that shock next. In Union Square, the city's showcase shopping district, retail vacancy reached about 23% in mid-2025 and kept inching up. Mall availability downtown spiked after its anchor tenants walked away. That is how a commercial district becomes brittle. Walk those blocks and you see the chain reaction.
Westfield handing over San Francisco Center back to the lender is another hit to downtown San Francisco. And while Westfield blames a massive drop in sales, there may be more at work here.
The Westfield San Francisco Center, once a regional magnet, was surrendered to its lender in 2023. A year later, its last anchor, Bloomingdale's, announced it would exit and then closed in spring 2025 with layoffs. Nordstrom had already left. The result is a center that is now overwhelmingly vacant. The Wall Street Journal reports roughly 93% of its 1.5 million square feet empty, and a freefall in income from a 2019 profit to a 2024 loss. That is a mall in name only. Flagships that once signaled confidence have been walking away. Nordstrom cited the changed dynamics of downtown and foot traffic before closing its stores there in 2023. Old Navy shuttered its Market Street flagship after more than 2 decades. Whole Foods closed its 1-year-old Market Street location, citing employee safety.
Yet another major retailer is leaving San Francisco's Union Square.
Yeah, Saks Fifth Avenue says they're closing their store.
Saks Fifth Avenue shut its Union Square store on May 10th, 2025. Each brand has its own balance sheet, but the pattern is a flight from a core that no longer feels like a sure bet. The sidewalk tells the rest of the story, and it is not subtle. San Francisco recorded its deadliest overdose year on record in 2023, with more than 800 people lost, largely to fentanyl. The monthly counts eased in 2024, then continued into 2025 at a slower but still grim pace, with the city's tracker noting 497 deaths through mid-October 2025. The crisis is visible in the very places where customers and commuters once gathered. Cleanliness indicators moved the wrong way in many areas over the last fiscal year. The Controller's Fiscal Year 25 Street and Sidewalk Maintenance Report, covering July 2024 through June 2025, documented citywide evaluations that include litter, dumping, graffiti, and feces. The summary and related coverage point to increases in problem categories in several neighborhoods, including spikes in feces sightings in hotspots like the Tenderloin, even as some downtown blocks improved. The bottom line for a visitor is simple. You can see and smell the decline. Homelessness data adds another layer. The official 2024 point-in-time count found 8,323 people experiencing homelessness in San Francisco, up about 7% from 2022. Unsheltered counts remain stubborn. This is not abstract. When encampments sit beside boarded storefronts, casual foot traffic decides to stay away. The circulatory system of a downtown is transit. When the trains are full, the sidewalks follow. When they are not, the energy fades. At the core stations downtown, BART's weekday ridership had recovered to only about 36% of 2019 levels by 2024, with weekends stronger than weekdays. Even by 2025, City Analysis still showed sub 50% weekday recovery in the core. If you ran a lunch spot that depended on that stream, you felt it every day. The facts compound. Union Square retail vacancy over 20%, office vacancy mid-30s, a dead mall that once anchored Market Street. Train ridership far below baseline, overdoses that shattered records, then settled at a lower but still harrowing level. Cleanliness metrics that capture an uncomfortable truth about what people encounter at street level. Add it up, and you understand why national retailers cut bait. You also understand why smaller operators struggle with theft, low foot traffic, and safety costs that wreck margins. The Market, a grocery and food hall in the former Twitter building, is a case study. Sales fell from roughly $60,000 per day in 2019 to around $2,300 by early 2025. Theft and street conditions were cited among the reasons. That is not a headwind, that is a wall. If you want to measure confidence, watch where retailers cluster. The story of 2024 and 2025 is not that every store left the city, it is that the cluster shifted away from the core. As the center emptied, other malls on the west side gained tenants, and several brands that left downtown reappeared elsewhere. The downtown core lost the gravitational pull it once had. Now look at the sidewalk again. Shop windows carry for lease signs. Steel gates roll down in daylight. You see graffiti on marble, fresh tags on yesterday's paint. The controller's report and subsequent audit debates even quantify the cost of trying to keep up, with San Francisco spending more per resident on street cleaning than peer cities, while still facing slight increases in feces and illegal dumping on many routes. Private sentiment matters, but public perception is what decides whether a family turns down Powell Street or heads somewhere else. The tax base follows the people. Empty offices mean lower property values and lower tax receipts. Quiet sidewalks mean fewer transactions and less sales tax. Transit agencies feel the gap in fares. City programs face pressure. You can see how a doom loop takes shape. Vacancy lowers activity. Low activity erodes safety and cleanliness. Erosion drives more vacancy. That loop is not inevitable, but it is visible here. There is a temptation to say this is only about remote work, and that if workers returned, the core would bounce back. The numbers challenge that hope. Even as certain office submarkets show small quarters of positive absorption and high-end buildings attract the few tenants who are expanding, the overall vacancy rate remains historically high.
Now, I know in the red doesn't sound that great, but it's great compared to where we were. Hello!
With Pier 39 as a backdrop, San Francisco Mayor London Breed announcing that the city's COVID numbers are now good enough to move into the red tier. The changes begin tomorrow morning, which include allowing indoor services at a limited capacity for a number of businesses.
Those wins have not yet translated into full sidewalks or crowded food courts. A handful of towers filling a few floors does not change the feel on Market Street. The decline is larger than any one policy failure. It is a stack of trends.
Well, as you know, San Francisco has struggled to get a handle on its homelessness crisis for years, decades. Simply housing people is not enough, though, when you're dealing with a population that struggles with mental health and substance abuse issues.
Years of extreme housing cost pushed workers out and made service labor scarce. A drug supply poisoned by fentanyl magnified human suffering in public view. Retail strategies moved online. Security and insurance bills climbed. Transit lost its peak hour backbone. The economics turned, then the mood turned with them. So what happens next? Is this a permanent reset or a brutal rotation before a new model emerges? Under the surface, the city and the private sector are trying to force a pivot from a 9 to 5 downtown toward a neighborhood where people actually live, study, eat, and go out after dark. The plan is to change the demand, not just the supply. City Hall's headline goal is called 30 by 30. The idea is to bring about 30,000 new residents and students into the core by 2030. That means unlocking conversions of underused offices and building a mixed-use fabric where a ground floor bakery or cafe has customers at 8 a.m., noon, and 8 p.m. instead of only at lunch. It is a simple test. Put more heads on pillows within walking distance and the sidewalks will change. There is also a ground floor push, a program called Vacant to Vibrant, fills empty storefronts with local pop-ups and then tries to turn those into real leases. In 2025, Wells Fargo committed $1 million to expand the program, with non-profits helping vendors make the leap from temporary to permanent. It is a targeted fix for a very visible problem, and it gives viewers something tangible to see from the curb. To change the feel after dark, the city created an entertainment zone around Union Square. More music, more events, later hours. The goal is to give residents and visitors a reason to show up in the evening, not just commute in the morning. This is the part of recovery that does not live on a spreadsheet. It lives in the sound of a block on a Thursday night. Private money is stepping in through a new downtown development corporation that coordinates donors and projects. Reporting in late 2025 described tens of millions already raised, with more promised, to speed improvements and knit together efforts that can otherwise stall in process. It is an admission that government alone cannot do this quickly enough. There are green shoots at the small scale. Arsicore Bakery, a local favorite that still draws lines for croissants, is opening at 88 Spear Street. Dandelion Chocolate opened a Union Square pop-up through Vacant to Vibrant. These names will not fill a mall. They do something different. They make a corner feel like a place again. And then there is the big legacy box on Union Square, Macy's. Earlier talk of closure has given way to a new joint effort with developer TMG to study a full reimagining of that block. The store remains open while the team explores a mixed future that could include housing and a different retail footprint. If you want a symbol of whether downtown can bend instead of break, watch that building. None of this erases the hard truth. The downtown that defined San Francisco for decades is gone. Office vacancy is still in the 30s. Union Square vacancy is still high. The center is a shell. BART weekday recovery downtown still trails weekends by a wide margin. Overdoses have eased from the peak, but the crisis remains visible at street level. Cleanliness metrics show the grind of trying to keep up. These are the facts on the ground, so the story ends in a place most viewers will recognize. Pain first, then the long, boring work of repair. Conversions need financing, permits, and patience. Small storefronts need customers and safety. Transit needs riders. The sidewalk needs to feel different at a human level. If the 30 by 30 plan lands, if the storefront activation keeps stacking leases, if the entertainment zone draws people back into the core at night.
San Francisco's largest downtown shopping mall is, for some, it's in a major upheaval right now. San Francisco Center, formerly known as the Westfield, is up for auction by its lender. So the mall has been in receivership since 2023, when the previous owner stopped paying the lease and gave up the property. So the auction comes at a time when the downtown mall looks like a shell of its former self. In fact, the Bloomingdale's store is shutting its doors any day now. We went by today. The decorations, even the mannequins, are for sale as they clean house. That comes a year and a half after the mall's 5-story Nordstrom closed following a 35-year run. That entire area is facing an uncertain future, and our Kenny Choi takes a closer look at the downtown corridor.
You could look up in a few years and see a downtown that feels alive in a new way. If not, the city will keep exporting its shoppers and its diners to neighborhoods that already passed the vibe test. You can decide for yourself when you walk those blocks. Count the dark floors, read the for-lease placards, note where the crowds do and do not gather. A city center is a living thing. It needs bodies in space all day and all evening. San Francisco's downtown forgot that for a while. Now it has to relearn it. One lease, one conversion, one late night at a time.